Hey y'all, my name is Chelsea and I hope you feel at home here. And today I wanted to talk about some hobbies. I feel like in this day and age, the most important thing to your life is to have a hobby. I feel like everyone has a hobby now. It's just become really rampant. There's the analog bag now where people are carrying around a crazy amount of stuff so that they can never be bored. There's people who are just like going on these trips to like learn how to paint or learn how to do pottery. I saw one where this girl went to France for like a whole week and it was like a pottery ceramics girls camp. It looked so fun. I thought that was so cool. I wish I could do something like that. That was really, really magical. But with that are all of these lists of like, oh, here's a free hobby that you can get into. Here's a cheap hobby you can get into. And I just feel like a lot of those lists are not honest. They're always giving hobbies that have really high price points or a high barrier of entry with skill. I just want to provide a list of hobbies that you don't need a skill. You can learn really quickly and the materials are really easy to get or to source or to find secondhand. This first hobby only really happens once you turn 30 years old. So you're 29 years old and the next morning you wake up and you're 30 and your first thought is, was that a cardinal? This literally happened to me. I was never into birds and then I turned 30 and now I'm really into birds. My husband is more into birds now. He got an app for birds. It's called the Merlin app. You can record the call of the bird and register it and like keep them in your book, your virtual book of birds. So you can collect the birds, kind of like Pokemon. And it's a free app. It's a free activity and it's so fun. It is actually cheap and is actually free and is actually fun. The birds change every season, you know, so there's always different ones. And I just think that if you observe birds doing things, it really brings you down a couple of notches. Like maybe you're really stressed about work and then you just see a bird outside and it's just digging around and it picks up a stick and then it goes and carries it off. And it's just like this nice little moment of peace. And I think paying attention to birds, you just really learn a lot more about life in like your area. And it's just really calming in addition to being free. Plus, if you ever travel, you can collect, rare birds for yourself. And that's really fun. And I also just think it's a gateway into a really potentially big hobby for when you're old. For when you're like, you know, in your 70s or something, like going out on hikes and stuff specifically to look for birds and not to be on the hike. I think that could be a life changer if you let it. I actually used to do this hobby a lot when I was a child, but flower pressing, collecting flowers from outside and putting them between two pieces of wax paper and in between two books and just pressing them. It's so beautiful and it's so fun. You can expand this to be like flower identification if you wanted to, but it doesn't have to be that serious. I've seen where people will make pressed flower bouquets. They'll put them into picture frames. They'll make all kinds of art out of these beautiful pressed flowers. And I feel like that's another hobby that just, I mean, it's totally free and it gets you outside and into nature and just noticing the little things, just like birding, where you're just taking a minute to see something really up close and small and beautiful, and you would have passed it by if you weren't pressing flowers, right? It kind of gives you this bringing you back kind of moment. And I think we can all use more of those. Another nature idea is to consider leaf rubbing and identification. You can just use a pencil and thin paper and just rub the leaf to get the indentation, and then it's easy to identify the leaf based off of that. And you could keep a whole journal this way of leaves that you find and collect. And when you do the rubbings, you can keep those forever. So you don't have to keep the actual leaf, which will eventually decay and crumble. The rubbing itself will last for a really long time. It's a very chill and quiet hobby and just another thing that we're overlooking. I just think it could be really, really fun. Learning to draw or sketch. This is such a low barrier to entry. Pencil, paper. It doesn't even have to be fancy paper or a fancy pencil. It can be whatever you have. It could be a pen. It could be anything. It could be with crayons. It could be with literally anything you have available. It doesn't have to be awesome materials. And you could literally just watch a video on YouTube to show you how to sketch something or show you how to look at something to sketch it. That's it. That's the whole hobby. Like, it's not complicated. It's not crazy. You may not be good at it, but like, that's what hobbies are for, is learning how to be good at it. I think we get caught up in thinking we need the best materials to have any hobby, but really it's the skill that we need. And so like with sketching, you literally just need a pencil and a piece of paper, and then that's it. That's the hobby. This one is everywhere. So I know this is on every single person's list, but hear me out. Crocheting and knitting, it is so easy to find crochet needles and knitting needles at the thrift store secondhand. They are super, super, super cheap at craft stores. And if yarn is where most of the money goes, you can go to a thrift store and buy a sweater and unravel the sweater. And I know that's kind of controversial, and I know that's probably not a popular thing to say. Someone's gonna be mad about that. But like, the sweater is probably going to a landfill anyway. Find a wool sweater, find any kind of sweater, and you can unravel the sweater and have all of that yarn to make whatever you want. There's also plenty of yarn at thrift stores too for sale, like full skeins, never been opened yarn. I personally got into crochet because I was gifted a lot of yarn from my grandmother. When she passed away, she had a ton of yarn and nobody wanted it. It was all unopened. And I was like, well, I'll take it. I have to learn how to use it. And I learned how to crochet, and I finally used it up last year. So like there's just so much yarn out there that you don't even have to go to an expensive craft store to buy brand new yarn. You can have so much yarn just from buying secondhand. If you're not sure about patterns, YouTube is another really great place to learn how to do stitches, how to get free patterns. It's such a good resource for learning any new skill, and the video aspect of it is so great. I love crochet, and I think it's nice to have something to do with your hands, and it's nice to have something to do with your mind. With the hand-eye counting, all of it together just really is such a good skill to have. That just, it helps all parts, all moving parts work together. The last cheap idea that I have is just to learn something new. For example, most of us in high school read Pride and Prejudice. But did you read Pride and Prejudice, or did you read the Spark Notes Pride and Prejudice? Borrow it from your library, read Pride and Prejudice, and then maybe seek out a commentary to borrow from the library too that goes along with Pride and Prejudice, or challenge yourself and find an essay prompt and write an essay about the book. I feel like this would be something that'd be really fun to do with a group of friends. Have everyone read the same book and then write different essays on them. Is that fun? Maybe it's not fun. I don't know. This sounds really fun to me. I'm like really out of school now. I'm not in college. I'm done with school. And I always loved school. So this sounds really fun to me, to read a book and then really break it down and like have a discussion about it or a debate about it, or have another friend read it at the same time and talk about it, kind of like a mini book club or something. Me and my husband read Dracula at the same time, which was so fun and such a good read. And I never read it in high school, and it was so good to talk about. And then Frankenstein, we read Frankenstein at the same time. Same thing, never read it in high school like I was supposed to, and then read it as an adult. So good to talk about, so fun to talk about the allegories and the themes in that book. There's just so much literature that we had to rush through in high school. So revisiting some of that, you have time to get more out of it. But then also revisiting some of those things as an adult too, you have like more maturity now to really understand some of the themes, or like really understand how some of those characters are bad actually. I also just personally believe that as adults, we run out of opportunities to do something new. We're just not putting ourselves in places where we can actively learn or try something new And so we have to seek them out. You know, any of the hobbies on this list could provide you opportunities of learning something new, but specifically picking a topic or a book for the purpose and intent of just learning, I think can be really fun and refreshing and just kind of put you back in this mindset of there's so much out there to learn and I haven't learned everything and I can learn more. And I think that can be really fun and inspirational. I know it's wild out there. There's so many things to do. There's so much stuff to look at. Everyone's telling you you need a hobby as you're scrolling on TikTok, and everyone is providing all of these really expensive hobbies and providing the links for them so you can buy all of the things so you can start your hobby. But it doesn't have to be that expensive and it doesn't have to be that serious. It can be chill. Hobbies should be chill. You don't have to make a job out of it, and you don't have to, I don't know, like you don't have to turn it into a career. It can just be fun. You don't even have to be good at it. You can be bad at it, and that's your hobby, something that you're bad at. And I think that can be good. What do you think? Are there any hobbies that I left out? Are there any free ones that you recommend? I'm always looking for new things. Also, if you have a book recommendation, please put it down below because I need more books to read, and I am just really on a classic fiction kick right now, and I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun and I need more. So be sure to share those down below and be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.